Charlotte Jeffrey Campbell, is there too much jargon and BS in a state and letting agency? Talk to me.
Yes, do you know what? It's one of those things that unless you leave the industry for a little while and go back into it, you don't realise how much there is. And one of the questions I quite often train my trainees in is finding out the level of experience that your customer has, particularly a landlord or vendor. Because if you go in and talk jargon to somebody who's got no experience, then how you're not going to be able to develop that rapport and win that business because you've made them confused and feel a little bit uncertain. But even I've got, when I just do this in training groups, people don't know what vendor means. What is it, like a vending machine? What's vendor? And here's a good one. I had a client of mine's dad went into an estate agent's looking to put an offer in, and the negotiator turned around to this person and said, "Are you proceedable?" And he looked at it blankly and said, "No, I'm Church of England." But it just demonstrates that we have this slightly robotic style sometimes as agents, and if you bolt that onto the CRM, can I take your name, can I take your postcode, how many bedrooms do you need a garage, do you need a garden? We aren't good at conversations.
No.
And that's a sweeping statement. A lot of agents are very good at conversations, but the computer stops us, I think.
It's funny, I see a lot of agents saying we've got 26 listings.
Yeah, what's a listing?
What's a listing?
Yeah, absolutely. But even EPC, lettings, CP12, Section 21, AST, first time buyer, all of these things. And the worst one, I'm going to register you as an applicant on our mailing list. Well, what's an applicant? What do you mean by that? And I think we do have too much jargon. And sometimes it makes me giggle because I listen to agents and think, no, if you bring yourselves down to the level of your customer, then it'd be much easier to develop a rapport, basically. Yeah.
If you've got any jargon or BS phrases in a state agency and lettings that you would like to remove from the general language, internally that's fine, but I'm talking about in your marketing and the way you talk to, put them in the comments below and we'll both have a look.
Absolutely.
Give you marks out of 10. How's that sound? Good stuff.
Great.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with Charlotte Jeffrey Campbell, very well known estate agency trainer and coach. Why in the UK are we so bad at staff development and coaching? Talk to me.
I think in our industry, it's because the fear is that I invest in my staff member and then they leave. And I think the reality is the opposite. And we talk about millennials, I think the reality now is those sort of staff members at that age, up to 30 odd, they need to be invested in. They need you to demonstrate when you turn up at a job interview, what are you going to do to train and development? And I think that's a habit we're not into yet. And I think we need to get into that because that's the best way of staff retention, isn't it? It's praise. It's developing them and giving them support.
I find it fascinating. I've had a few Australian agents on the sofa and negs are expected to do their own self-development. Yeah. Whilst in the UK, I've had a number of situations where the negs have been to their bosses saying, I want to get this trainer in. And the trainer turned round and actually said, I'll only come if the negs pay half my wages. And it turned out it's like 80 quid each. And none of them would put their hand in their pocket.
But I guess if I'm employed, if you work for a big corporate accountancy, your company is responsible for training you.
Should you have your own self-responsibility?
Yeah, so that's a different thing. So when I do training, one of the things, so often I'm brought in by an employer, it's normally the boss who brings me in, but when I'm in there, I do say to them, because I know the industry is a bit of a mixed bag in terms of training, I do say, but you are also responsible. And I'll say, log on to the Property Industry Eye or Estate Agent Today, keep up to date. The government website's really good for training tools in terms of our industry or updates. So I say you do have to self-develop. But it's not easy to be trained in your own company-specific processes or ethos if it's not done by your company. So your company has to develop you in certain areas. But yes, and when ROPA comes in, one of the things we're going to have to do is CPD, continuing professional development. And in Scotland, it's 25 hours. So you have to do, and that could be reading my emails, it could be, a training course, it could be e-learning, it could be anything. But I do think there's a balance. You both have to be responsible.
So I know we've talked about it in greater detail. Do you think ROPA and qualifications are going to be probably the thing that saves the industry?
Yeah, I really do. And actually, all the agents I'm talking to are really positive about it. And the staff themselves are really positive. And you'd be surprised how many of them are the ones chomping at the bit to get started on the qualification. Because I know from my years as a negotiator, and even running a property management department. I had 1,000 properties I was responsible under management. I'd done my ALA qualifications quite a bit before, but not like they are now. But I still spent a lot of my time with my fingers behind my back thinking, I think I'm right. And, you know, when you can sometimes reach a level of experience in your job role without the level of confidence in your knowledge. And I think actually having a badge that says, no, you are, this is as good as it gets, that's good knowledge, and here's your progression route, is really, really important for you as an individual.
Thank you very much.